here today with Sean Gregory, Managing Director, Barra Resources. Sean, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, David.
It's been a busy 3-6 months.
Look, it has. We've been working very hard on both our gold projects and our Mount Thirsty cobalt nickel project. Look, we've had some really good news over the summer and indeed some news just the last couple of days.
You've been pushing ahead with the cobalt project and getting some exceptional results.
Look, we have. So we did a very positive scoping study in 2017, and what we've been able to do in our pre-feasibility study that's underway is take that to the next level. Particularly on the metal extractions, which is where the money is. That's what we get paid for, the cobalt and the nickel. We've been able to increase our recoveries from around about the mid 70% up towards the mid 80s, and indeed our nickel recoveries or extractions have gone from the mid 20s up to the low 30s. And we're very pleased that we've been able to do that all at our low capital atmospheric leaching conditions, and been able to do it for very little additional costs. So that's a real upkick for the project economics, and we look forward to being able to unveil that with the pre-feasibility study later on this year.
And you've been able to advance some of your test work from the bench into a bigger scale?
Yeah, correct. So we had a lot of success over the summer doing the bench scale test work, and in particular optimising the conditions of the leach. So we did about 40 of those tests at the bench scale, just pulling the levers to get those recoveries that we needed. Now that we've optimised those conditions, we've been able to replicate that at the larger scale. So we're now doing it in a 50 kilo vessel, and particularly for our material, which is very, very fine, that is giving us a great deal of confidence that these results can be replicated in a production environment.
Cobalt prices have come off a little bit in recent times, but the interest is still there. How important is it to keep going so the end users are ready?
It's all about timing, David. Everything's about timing, and particularly with a commodity like cobalt. And look, over the last 100 years, cobalt has gone up and down. But the really interesting thing is we're actually now at historical lows in real terms. So this is as low as cobalt gets. And when you overlay that with the electric vehicle story, we think there's a very strong business case for that cobalt price to bounce back. And it's important that we're ready for that, to be ready to have those results, to be able to promote into that rising tide that we expect to be returning very shortly. We are having some very positive discussions with a number of multinational companies, and we see that as probably the most likely opportunity for us to add value to shareholders. These are guys who have a 100-year investment horizon. They're not fazed by the day-to-day ups and downs, and in fact the quality of our product and what it can unlock for those big players downstream is where they see the value. So we're very much looking to deliver what those guys need. And they've indicated to us that their minimum investment criteria is a pre-feasibility study, so that's what we're working very hard to give to them.
Shifting to the gold, what have you seen and what are you looking for from the gold going forward?
Look, our gold assets, they just keep giving. We listed on the back of those assets in the year 2000, and indeed the production there goes right back to the 1880s. And we find every time we drill holes there, we find more gold, even when we're going over old ground that's been looked at before. It's a very high grade system. Historically it's averaged 18 grams per tonne underground, but the results we announced just yesterday were at a deposit we called Burbanks North, and what we've found there, just with shallow drilling, we've actually found a little oxide blowout that typically 2 to 3 grams per tonne gold, but that may well be open pittable and may well be a source of cash for Barra in the near term. But more excitingly is with that oxide blowout there, what's underneath, and we don't know that yet, but that's something that we'll keep going with our gold assets and just keep building that story.
Barra's a company that always keeps giving. Exciting times ahead. Sean,
Yep.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, David.